Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to a mighty fine Sunday, even though the weather's a little poopy. This is Mike from Mike's Magic Auto Detailing and Paint Enhancement here in Sharpsburg, Georgia. Yeah. You said, have we seen your car enough, Mike? Okay. Good enough. Oh, man. We are ready to go to the Claybaring stage on this. I forget what year it is, 2013, 15, something like that. Hemi Challenger RT. See, it says it right there. Oh, you can't see that? It's kind of poopy light out here. See, RT. I don't know much about these cars, but I know they're badass. I like this one. I like it a lot. I would not have it painted this color. I think it's more of a lady female color. What do you think about that, guys? Would you guys have it painted this color? I understand some people like this. I don't know if you call it champagne, pink, purple. It's kind of a cross, which poses a slight problem that I'll get to in just a minute. But she has been totally strip washed. If you saw any of the previous videos, and already, in my opinion, looking way better than she did when she first arrived. Everything has been stripped. Everything. There are very few contaminants left on this paint. Hey, Stephanie! Very few. I mean, I feel almost nothing. Oh, man. That was with a foam bath with purple power, and then blah, and then I did the contact wash. I used Meguiar's Wash Plus on this one, since I'm going to be doing paint correction, paint enhancement anyway. That's the only time I use that stuff. They call it a polishing soap, but it does have some mild abrasives in it, so it could possibly mar your paint, and will. But if you're going to, whatever marring it does is easily removed. It's very micro marring type. But she is very squeaky clean at this point, and I don't expect my Claybar will pick up much more off of this paint, but it needs to be done anyway because there are still a few contaminants on here. I'll be Claybarring the glass as well, the tempered glass only. You cannot and should not Claybar like this glass because it's not tempered. It will scratch it, and then you'll be stuck with those scratches. I'll be Claybarring the windshield, all that. After I did the contact wash, I did what we call a decon. Sprayed it down with a product called Iron X, which melts away any metal deposits like rail dust, brake dust, that sort of thing that settles on here, gets mixed with water, bonds to your paint, and it melts that away, and you have to rinse it. You have to be really careful when you're using that stuff. Really careful. Iron X is very strong, very acidic. You don't want to get it on glass, plastic, rubber. If you do, rinse it off immediately. It will etch glass quickly. I know, because I lost a pair of eyeglasses back when I wore glasses because I had some blowback on my glasses. And when I'm using that stuff, that's one reason I wear a pair of goggles now, protective goggles, because now that I don't wear glasses, I don't want that acidic stuff getting in my eyes. Work safe and work clean, folks. Work safe and work clean. But that stuff, when it reacts with metal contaminants, Miss Stephanie, it turns a purplish color. When it reacts, the active ingredient reacts with the metal, it turns a purplish color, and you can actually see it running down the side of the car. But on a car this color, it wasn't showing up very well, so I couldn't tell if there just weren't much on here, which I don't think there was, because this is a relatively fresh paint job, I think about 60 days ago. And this lady apparently takes pretty good care of this vehicle. There was a lot of retail wax level wax protection on here, which is all gone now. It's all gone, which is one of your goals when you're doing a strip wash. It's all gone. There is no protection on here. I mean, this is literally squeaky clean now. And all you get's a sheeting action. Very little beading, very little beading. This glass is beading because of the polish I used on it the other day. Leaves behind a little bit of protection, but that'll be coming off. One thing that is concerning me, Stephanie, is this paint on the roof. Yeah, it looks cool, but this seems like a very soft paint to me. There are some contaminated and some defects here, but this is very soft paint, so I'll be using a very mild Claybar on this. And then when I move to the polishing procedure for this, Stephanie, what I will be using is a finishing polish to buff it with, and a very soft black Lake Country finishing pad. I don't think I can get very aggressive with this. I'd be afraid of what this paint might do. So it's not nearly as durable as this paint, particularly since this is an aftermarket job. My paint thickness gauge showed there was plenty of paint on here. The guy laid it on thick, I'll give him that. But I don't think he painted that. So there's plenty of paint to work with here. It's about a medium hardness, I would say, which is fine. But this, I'm not sure about. And it wasn't registering on my paint thickness gauge. I'll be very careful with that. Same thing goes for this spoiler here. I'm not sure what quality paint this is, but it seems like it's relatively soft. It's not metal, I don't think. So have to be careful with that. But I'm ready to move into the Claybar stage, which, if there are any more contaminants left on this paint, it will remove the vast majority of that. And I'm going to work on them exhaust tips a little bit more at some point. I will be restoring this, as well as some of the other plastic, vinyl, rubber parts. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to use on it yet, but this is overspray from the paint job. So I will see if I can remove that with probably a little bit of lacquer thinner. And there's a few overspray spots, you know, across the vehicle, which is not altogether unusual for when you have an aftermarket paint job done, unless they just blow the car completely apart and then paint it and put it back together, which is prohibitively expensive for most people. Yeah, it can be done, but it comes at a really high price. And you know, it's not a show car. This is the lady's grocery getter, I call it. And she's got a pack of young'uns she carries around in this thing too. Oh boy. But all that tar, bugs, all that stuff is gone, gone, gone. It's squeaky clean. And as I said, it's ready for Claybar. And then we'll be on to polishing. Oh man. And I may see, Stephanie, I'm gonna have to raise the hood and see how difficult it is to remove these while I do that. I would rather do that than tape these off, because it's really difficult to polish down in these little nooks and crannies. It can be done, but you know, just little bitty spots right there. If it's just a little nut or something that holds them on, then it's relatively simple to take those off. Of course, I'll take this off. I would like to remove these if possible, if it's an easy thing to do. Of course, I'll be taping off everything before I start polishing to protect it and to make the cleanup easier. But I haven't dried her off, which, you know, at this point of the game, if you're going to be Claybarring, it doesn't make sense to me to dry the vehicle off. Yeah, when this dries, it will leave behind a little ring or something, which under normal circumstances, if you got it off within a day or so, those water spots could be easily removed. But since I'm going to be Claybarring it now anyway, and the first thing you do with when you Claybar is you spray some sort of lubricant on the paint, and then you Claybar it. So if you're going to be spraying stuff on there, why dry it now? Just doesn't make sense to me. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me. But all that stuff has been stripped, all the bugs and all that crap off of the headlights, which are still in really good shape. They don't need restoring. But I will coat them with something. Some long-term protection. 6, 8 months or even a year or more better. Oh man. I wish whoever painted this thing had not let this kind of stuff happen. Little nibs and stuff all over the place. I may attack some of the worst ones, Stephanie, but that's not what this budget's all about. What I'm charging her for is what we call a one-step polish, and then she did not want the coating, the TMR coating. She could not afford that. They're trying to buy a house, relatively young couple, so it will be getting at minimum an 8-month to a year titanium sealant. But I have some lesser ceramic coating in stock. I need to use it up, so I may coat the hood or something like that, just so she gets an idea of what that stuff does for her. That won't take me very long, you know. And what I may do is, we talked about this trunk before, I may coat the trunk this deck lid, because this thing has, I mean, it looks okay right now. It looks better than it did in my video the other day. But, of course, it's kind of wet right now, so it's kind of shiny and the light's poor. But there is very little gloss and shine on this trunk deck and this part of the fender. But then when you move to here, you got a very high gloss. There's a bug. So I need to try to bring this up to this, if I possibly can, and stay within her budget. So it's crying out for some sort of coating, or in an ideal world with the proper budget, I would put a product called Optimum Clear Coat Restorer on this, which is literally a wipe-on self-leveling clear coat. Pretty expensive, hard and tricky to work with. It's not really a DIY kind of a product. It is, but you need to practice on something besides your own car first, like a practice panel from a body shop. I have a couple of those out there in my shed. When I get a new product that I've never used before, I will use the practice panels first. Although practicing with that stuff is an expensive venture, it's over $100 for 9 ounces, which 9 ounces would do this whole car, more than likely. But once you crack it open, it's like a lot of these products, the clock is ticking. You only have so long to use it, then it goes bad. Once the air hits it, the clock is ticking. It's not as good as if you spray it on at a body shop, but it's really good stuff for certain situations and certain vehicles. I've used it on several really old vehicles. I've put it on old cars that were beat, really beat, and were old single stage paints, Stephanie, that did not even have clear coat on them. I put that stuff on there, man, they shined up like a brand new penny, and it will provide UV protection for a very long time. Not as long as a spray-on clear coat, but a very long time. I put it on my car, and I was trying to get it off of my roof. Oh man, once you get it on there, you play hell getting it off. That's how durable and good that it is. But I'm really happy with the way she's shaping up thus far. It's just a good strip wash. Stephanie has really transformed most of this paint job relatively well. And you know, after everything, some sort of protection on it will bring up this shine and gloss substantially, is my opinion. And I will be coating the wheels as well with whatever I use, whatever I decide to use. Oh man. But sometimes it's hard to tell, another bug. It's hard to tell stuff exactly what you have, like when you first assess a vehicle, until you get it to this stage. Once you get it absolutely clean, and you're not trying to look through dirt and contaminants and all that kind of stuff, then you can actually tell more about what kind of shape this paint's in. I mean, I showed you guys these the other day. There's some scratching right there. I think you can see that, Steph. That should go away. But these big blotchy spots in the paint, like there used to be a stripe right there. Whoever painted this thing did a really poor job of that. They should have used what we call an eraser wheel, a 3M eraser wheel. I suspect highly they did not do that. Because you can see, you can absolutely see where the stripe was. I will try to get, I don't know if you can see the line in this light, Stephanie, but you know, I can definitely tell where the stripe was. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to pick up on it, but you can definitely tell where the stripe was on this hood. I will try to get rid of that for her and stay within her budget. It's all about the budget. This is not what I'm calling a concours level detail. There's no way they could afford that. No way. See, there's that puddle of damn clear coat. Nothing I can do about that. I talked to several painters and other high-level detailers, consulted with them about that puddle of clear coat. They all told me the same thing. There is nothing that I can do about that without getting into trouble. To get rid of that, you would have to sand it out and then respray the whole hood and re-clear it, is what they tell me. I'll have to take their word for that. That's something I have not dealt with before, is a puddle of clear coat on a car. Anyway, folks, I appreciate you. Thanks for dropping by, Miss Steph. I hope you're doing well. You know, it's a good Sunday. There's only two kinds, good and better, right? Even though the weather has been poopy, it hasn't really bothered me very much. Yeah, I got wet a couple times. Hey, Miss Crystal. I got wet a couple times, but hell, I'm getting wet anyway, washing the car, so it didn't bother me. I had to go inside a couple times when it, you know, started thundering. I figured if there's thunder, there's lightning close by. Hey, I miss you too, Miss Crystal. Yeah, I don't play when it starts thundering. When it starts thundering, I put my stuff down, I go in the house and grab a cup of coffee. Yeah, I'm not taking a chance with that. Don't want to be standing in puddles of water, holding electrical appliances, blah, 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 when it's storming like that up there. No, 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 no. But as long as it's just raining, that doesn't bother me. I've washed many cars in the rain. But, you know, so I'll be moving on here and eventually take a close look at this vent cowl. You can see how it's discoloring, turning white, which is typical. And what that is not so much from stuff getting on it, although some of it is. It's kind of like tires. This is a rubbery type right here. This is rubber. This is plastic or vinyl. But what happens is, nope, Frank, can't do nothing with that. That's what I've been told. I'm not even going to try, Frank. Not even going to try. And I explained that carefully to my customer. But what this is the chemicals inside of this plastic and rubber from sun, heat, that kind of stuff, works its way to the surface. And it causes this staining. Of course, some of this looks like old wax and whatever, but if that, all that is gone, if that was the case, it is gone. The stuff I used would have got rid of any surface stuff, but it is stained. But I'll fix that up. Frank, probably I may use, you know, the trim restorer on that, the stuff like I gave y'all, that gray stuff. I forget what it's called at the moment, but this is squeaky clean. It does not get any cleaner than this, period. So anyway, folks, oh boy, no, she did not, Frank. This guy did a really poor job. You should come by and look at this. It is full of nibs. There's cloudy spots, whiting spots that are kind of turning white, rough spots. Oh man, go back and watch the rest of the video and watch that earlier video where the lighting was better. You would be abhorred. This trunk is almost like, Frank, that it doesn't even have any clear coat on it. It's wet right now. That's the only reason it's shining as good as it is. But this is almost dull. Here is dull. And then you move to here and you got a high gloss. I'm going to try to make this match up as good as I can with this. Oh boy. Oh. It's a shame that whoever painted this didn't do a better job than what they did. Oh well, man, it's not good, Frank. It's not good at all. I guess it's better than, I don't know what kind of shape this paint was in before, but look how dull and orange peely that is, Frank. That's ridiculous. There's almost no gloss there whatsoever, almost none. I mean, it's dull. Up here is not bad. You know, you can kind of see my reflection there, but down here you can't see squat. Oh man, it's almost like different colors. You know, I move around and there's like white spots that are much lighter in color than other spots. Man, oh man. If this was my car, I'd be hot. Me and that guy would have had a few words. I don't know if you can see that, Frank, but it's all rough right there. Rough with a shiny spot in the middle. But it showed up pretty good in one of my other videos. But the lighting out here is kind of poor. But anyway, I appreciate everybody. Thanks for dropping by, Frank. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Like, tag, share, follow, all that stuff. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Got a question? Shoot it to me. I'll be happy to answer it for you. Not a problem. Not a problem. If you have like DIY questions or if any other question, no problem. No problem. I appreciate you. I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna get started Claybar in this bad boy, Frank. It's time for Claybar. I'm gonna use a mild grade because I'm not sure how durable this paint is, Frank. I'm not sure what kind of quality paint this guy used. It's plenty thick. It's plenty thick, mostly because of the clear coat, I think. My paint thickness gauge, so there's plenty of paint. So, but then I'll probably do a little wet sanding here and there, just because. She's not paying for that. But I mean, I'm standing here looking at that spot right up there, and I'm like, man, a little wet sanding might improve that some. What's your opinion, Frank? I know you can't see it, but because it's not showing up here, but I can damn sure see it here in real time, and it's just bugging me to death. You know, if you're going to do stuff like this, at least get the horizontal surfaces right, because that's what everybody sees. That's what everybody notices. My goodness. If this was my car, and I'd paid what she paid for this paint job, I'm not going to say it on camera what she paid, I would be ticked. Ticked. I hear you. Alright, thank you, Frank. Thanks, Steph, Crystal, everybody that tuned in. I'm going to get to it, try to get most of this car Claybar before supper time. Alright, appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.